Listen, there was a book that came out that Jasmine Ray wrote, and in the Daily News today, it was stated that there was a sexual action that happened in Borough Hall to be put in that book, and it wasn't. You're a dog sick person, man. You know that? You're a dog sick person. Your name was on the byline. And there's some of you that have been covering me. You guys could part. Let me do this. Y'all could depart. Y'all could depart.
All right, Eric Adams, talk your talk. Talk your talk. Yeah, he getting his Trump on right now.
Some of you have been covering me for 3.5 years. Some of you are so sick and dark, and you're the leader of that. You're one of the most dark writers that I've ever seen in this city. And your personal sick vendetta and the sickness of how you think of over-sexualizing a black man, that in the book is stated that there was a sexual action in Borough Hall. That was never in the book. But that's typical of the sickness and the darkness of your sick mind. You're one of the sickest reporters I know. Go to the next question. You're a sick person.
What's your reaction to Letitia James getting indicted?
I'm going to do the same thing to her what I ask of everyone. When I was going through my situation, let the process play out. People attack.
That's fair. I think that's 100% fair. Eric Adams is extending grace over to Letitia James, even though I don't have to extend grace to Letitia James because I'm not Eric Adams and I'm not in a similar situation. I'm pretty sure that he's worked with her before, considering that he's the mayor of New York and she's an attorney general over New York. Letitia James deserves whatever it is that she got coming to her, but I do agree with the idea that you got to let the process play out because you shouldn't just be convicted in a court of public opinion. Now, the flip side is I like this side of Eric Adams. I like the fact that he went off on reporters, that he called them out, and you can tell that the reporter actually felt embarrassed, and I wish they could have showed their face because you shouldn't be able to hide behind writings or you shouldn't be able to hide behind the camera and not be held accountable for some of the stuff that you said. When they were accusing Eric Adams of some of the stuff that they were accusing him of, especially well over 30 years ago from some wild accuser from this New York Survivors Act, the same act that got Diddy jammed up. And it was several other celebrities that was being accused of different things in order for women to get payouts and also to smear his name. I didn't agree with it. And I thought it, even though I didn't agree with Eric Adams on a lot of things, including the illegal migrant crisis, I didn't agree with it whatsoever. And I thought that it was disrespectful. And the reporters that were pushing it was evil also. Eric Adams is justified in saying that the reporters are evil for the things that they are pushing and spewing, trying to make sure that they smeared his name. It wasn't right. It was disrespectful. And I think that they should be held accountable similarly to how they are being held accountable in this situation from Eric Adams. I don't have no problem with what he's saying whatsoever at all. If you got a disagreement, air it out. As a matter of fact, I believe that he probably would have been 10 times more successful if he was direct the way that he's direct right now. If people took a more realistic approach, because everybody tries to be politically correct, everybody tries to say the thing that they think that everybody wants to hear instead of saying the thing that they know is to be true. And if people actually just was real and was direct about, you know what I'm saying, whatever it was that's being said, then I think that they would have a much better political career, and the people would actually be able to resonate with them more, but they don't. For whatever reason, even though Trump is super successful with being transparent, regardless of whether you agree with him or not, he's telling that he's telling you what he really thinks. And when I see these politicians tiptoe around, Trump will just straight up tell CNN or he'll tell, hey, you fake news, or yo, you always fake, you always giving me bad coverage, you ain't never keeping it real, all of this stuff. He'll straight up call a politician straight up to their face and tell them, hey, listen, you're a bad politician. Y'all probably should be jailed for the way that y'all over there doing the Chicago or whatever like that. Shout out to Chicago. I'm going to always throw a shout at y'all. Not Chicago, the city, but Chicago, the politicians. They would have a better political career. And I think that Eric Adams is absolutely cooking right here. Let me get some more of what he got to say right quick.
They called me names. They destroyed an impeccable record in the city Folks, I've been doing this for 40 years. I have 40 years of delivering for the people of the city of New York. And within months, my entire life was destroyed.
Similar to Trump.
And some of you who knew me joined the chorus of calling me all sorts of names. He made a deal. He did this. All of you that knew me, I was really surprised. And some of you broke my heart. I was surprised that y'all saw how impeccable my record was as a police officer, state senator, borough president, and as a mayor. And within months, because of a lawfare, you all of a sudden turned me into a criminal. You characterized my administration as corrupt. You didn't look at the dedication and commitment and the success of this city. And I noticed, you know what's interesting? I'm seeing.
Hey, he got gloves off. You could tell now that he announced that he's no longer running for mayor of New York City, is gloves off.
None of you report some of the stuff that is coming out of the FBI of what happened under the Biden administration. I'm not seeing you report that. I'm not seeing you report some of the hidden records and the hidden files. I'm not seeing that anymore. But what you did in those months, to me, I'll never forget that. It was wrong. I did not deserve that. And as a mayor and as a public servant, I committed myself to the city, and I'm going to continue to commit myself to the city in the process. What's up, Kelly?
He talking that talk. He's saying, "What's up, Kelly?" He talking his talk now. He ain't holding back. What's up, Kelly? He said, "Kelly, you may go now." Yo, he calling out the media. He calling out the press, and he's right. A lot of them are dirty. They've been dirty for a long time. That's why they losing. That's why they starting to get replaced. And that's why they out here looking stupid, man.
Hold on, Kelly.
I'm good. I wanted to ask you to follow up. You know, speaking of your indictment, you talked about the Justice Department weaponizing that indictment, going after black politicians. I mean, this is another black politician being indicted here in the city. What's your response to that?
Do you feel they weaponized me? Of course, you can answer. You asked me about others, but I remember how you covered me. You didn't feel they weaponized me. I was indicted for calling the fire department to do a building inspection, and many of you who covered me during that time were salivating at the thought that Eric will go to jail for 33 years. So don't start asking me about what do I think about what's going on now. I want to know what did y'all think about when my life was destroyed in this city. And I wish I had a mic so I can drop it right now.
Talk your talk, Eric Adams. I didn't necessarily care for the Eric Adams administration over in New York during the illegal migrant crisis. I thought that he was shucking and jiving too much. He was doing the will and the bidding of the Biden administration and Kamala Harris. And I could tell that, I could see that he had fell out with them when he was no longer participating with them, because he was in the biggest city in the biggest state, and they never asked him. They never had a conversation with him. It was almost like they weaponized the Justice Department against him when he was no longer playing ball and playing along when it came to the illegal migrant crisis. And that was when, the Trump administration wound up coming in and pardoning him and all of this other type of stuff and ensuring that he was good. Maybe he didn't pardon him, but it seems like the Trump administration, once they was elected president of the United States of America, they leaned on the Justice Department because they said, these charges is bogus, these charges is false, y'all need to let them go or whatever. But my point in saying all that is he should have been straight up and matter of fact, and he actually probably wouldn't be being ousted. It doesn't change the behavior of the reporters because the reporters were evil, but maybe he wouldn't be being ousted and they wouldn't be bringing in this super socialist communist guy in Mom Donnie that's looking to basically eliminate all of the police officers. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.